2 cents, where we talk about anything and everything, and we give our 2 cents. Today's show is going to be pretty interesting. Want to talk a little bit about the incident that happened last Friday. Obviously, the UVA Charlottesville white supremacy protests that went down. But and as you can hear, that's my man Karumbe on the line, is also and as well the beautiful and a hell of intelligent. I got Miss Carla on the line as well. So yeah. So anyway, we're gonna talk about this situation. So obviously, I was out of town. I was in Maryland when I heard about this shit. I didn't know how serious it was until I understand that, a young lady was killed beyond this thing. I guess a van got 20-year-old white guy, a white supremacist, was driving a van, and he ran over. I know he ran into a crowd of people, which has been like the thing lately. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, because there was a crowd of people that got hit by a van today in Spain.
Kill a bunch of people, man. You ain't got to buy guns. You ain't got to buy bullets. You just find a group of people, just run them all over.
All right, cool. Let the government find you, and it'll be on, because you just told them exactly. You sound too excited about that shit, but it is what it is. No, man, but I just thought it was very, very interesting, man. Like, they gave Kaepernick shit for a peaceful protest, but where the fuck was the outrage about this white supremacy march that took place? You know what I'm saying? So
hey, my boy DT told you, man, it was bad on both sides. It was bad on both sides.
That's what 45 said, man. 45 said it was both sides were at fault. I want to know, how the fuck are both sides at fault in a sense of hatred? You got hatred, and you have those that want to be unified, as Americans. So how do we go about this? How do we say that this is unification, and how do we call, again, we know what hatred is, so this is clear. This is a clear case of hatred. So how the fuck can we find any good in both sides? He said both sides are at fault for this shit. No. See, there's hatred, and then there's whoever else is on. That's what, and then there's America. Hatred has no place in America, because that's the whole point of what we're doing, and that's why Kaepernick took the knee, because of how America has portrayed itself. America prides itself on its unity and everybody's equal and all this shit. Yet, there's a certain shade of color that gets treated, I would say, a little bit better than everyone else. And you can figure that out for yourself. But I want to know. I really want to know what you guys think as far as this Charlottesville incident that took place. So I will start with Karumbe, man. What did you think when you saw the incident that went down at in UVA, bro?
Oh, real talk, man. Oh, Emily just stepped in.
Hi.
Hey,
bro.
Man.
Let Emily go, man.
All right, cool. Can you let
myself? I feel like, I don't know if people think these racist people win. They just, they so brave. They ain't even have, a lot of them ain't even have hoods and shit on no more, bro. Since this dude been president, they just came out of the woodwork hard. And then, like, it doesn't look good on him to defend these motherfuckers, yo. That's the shit that killed me, yo. Like, how do you defend a bunch of... When Arnold is talking shit about you, you know something wrong, man.
Yo, this information is on Al Jazeera News. Y'all know that? About the Charlottesville attack?
Hey, it's like...
This is crazy, man.
People was trying to defend him at one point, like... I know a bunch of black people that voted for him, man. And I'm like, all these racist... so-called supporters of his, they support him for some fucking reason. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's so funny, man? I was just driving home. From having a couple of them things, drinks. And I just so happened to read this article on Facebook. Apparently 95.7 at home in Virginia. Shout out to the 757. Carla being there as well. I miss y'all very much. But, I saw an article. I guess one of the sisters from the group Mary, she is an avid supporter of Trump. And I think it's very interesting that there's certain black people that do support this man, even though he don't support black people. And it is what it is. So yeah, so I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. Some people feel how they feel, and we got to respect that. That's fine. You do what you do. Just because you voted for Trump does not make you a racist, but it does make me question what the fuck you think is good in the office. And I'll leave it as such. But
they got the mindset that a lot of people are just living off the country. That's a lot of their mindsets, man.
Right. I mean, because we got to do better. We definitely got to do better as far as like what we have in office, and it's just a shame because of any of this, and anyone that knows the previous presidency, especially the especially the black president that we did just have in office. If he did like two of the things that this motherfucker has done in office, he'd be gone. He'd be gone. There'd be talk of impeachment a long time ago. He'd probably be impeached by now, So I just think it's very interesting how race has its privileges, and with situations as such. And there's some that will admit to it, and there's others that will deny the fact that the certain race has an advantage in this in our society. But that's fine. That's cool, because actions speak louder than words any day. I mean, I could say that Asians have an advantage in our society, but the actions wouldn't represent that. But if I do say how this white man is able to do the shit that he's done, as far as being involved, he tampered with an election. Imagine if Obama had let's just say if Zimbabwe had tampered with fucking. If Zimbabwe had tampered with the election, they would have made the other candidate fucking president by now. Like the type of shit, So not literally, but you get what I'm saying. And but the incident that it really just took place, like it's so wild that they were just so bold. They felt so encouraged by this man being in office that they could do a certain protest like such. Man, we haven't seen this shit in over 50 years. It's been like 50 years since we've seen like an open just white supremacist come out there. No sheets, no nothing.
Nothing, man. No sheet.
These rich motherfuckers had tiki. They had tiki fucking lamps, man. What the fuck, yo? You had tiki lamps. You having a cookout. That's some cookout shit like you having a Hawaiian party. Fuck it. You know what? We don't like what's going on. You're going to remove our Confederate statues? I'm outraged. There's something must be done about it. So, it is what it is, man.
I'm confused about this whole thing. What I'm confused about is they have the police protecting these guys, right? But if it was the other way around, they would be.
Well, let's talk about Ferguson. Let's talk about Ferguson and the protests that happened out there, because they had the National Guard, they had all kinds of military forces to protect them from the incident that went down. Granted, a black man was just gunned down without a gun on him. And we don't seem to understand that. Yeah, but it's all right to protest the bullshit of a Confederacy, monument coming down. But I really want, honestly, Carlo, how do you feel about this, babe? I really want to know your thoughts on this, and definitely chime in when you're ready.
About the whole situation, it's not a surprise. I'm not surprised about it, only because we knew this shit was going to happen when he got in office.
Right.
And the only reason why I'm not surprised is you have plenty of them sitting in the White House. And that's the reason why they are okay with it. They are speaking out because they sit. They're lawyers. They're senators. They're our governors. They're everybody that we know. Like, it's no secret who these people. Well, it's a secret because we don't see their faces. But now we're starting to see who they are. But we already knew these people were inside of the White House. And like the dude head of KKK said, he did an interview, and he said, Trump needs to remember who put him in office. It wasn't us. It wasn't the party. They put him in office. They knew exactly who they wanted in that office. So he got to do what he has to do to make them happy. Then he knows they're going to turn on him. And what he did today, if you guys didn't see, he fired Steve Bannon.
Yeah, he did. Chief strategist.
Ignorant.
Yeah, he he fired the chief strategist of this.
He fired him because he went against his word. Because you can't go against them. At the end of the day, they are now a minority, so they're scared. So they think doing this shit is what really do something. But in today's day, it's not going to get away with it. But they have to feel like they're doing something, and now they're trying to be ignorant, and now you get this chaos. Here in Virginia, I knew this shit was going to happen. Racism is never going to die. It never did die. So I understand why people are so amazed that this shit is going on. But look, we in the Commonwealth state of Virginia. This shit has always been around.
Well, let me ask you, Carla, with you being from, I'm saying, obviously from California and then moving to Virginia, what form of racism did you see growing up?
Didn't see it. That's the thing. Being from California, being born in Oakland, raised in Alabama, I did not have to deal with racism because I'm a Navy brat. So, my best friend in elementary was a white girl named Misty. Didn't have no problem spending out at Misty's house. Misty spending out at our house. I had a diverse group of friends. But then when we moved to Florida, to Jacksonville, I still didn't deal with it until I actually moved to Virginia. And I hate Virginia. I hate it. I still hate it. Because it's sad. I wasn't raised to be inferior to the white man. That's not how my family raised us. So they're not better than me. You are so goddamn mind.
We got it back.
So it's sad. Either we gonna get our shit together, because not only are we mad, but you got real white people mad now. So hey.
Honestly, what it's going to take, and I think we talked about it on a couple shows not too long ago. We appreciate everybody being patient with us as we try to figure out this, getting the podcast back, back on track and everything. But we had mentioned before that it's going to take people, it's going to take white people that to stand up against this shit in order for something to really, really happen, because we are in at a crucial point right now in our society where tempers are flaring, and a lot of people are looking for a reason to be mad at that other race. So it was wild to me because it was brought to my attention. On my way back, I read that the guy that was the guy attacked in the garage up there at UVA by white supremacists. He's from Suffolk, Virginia, which is where I'm from. That's where I grew up. So it was very interesting that this young kid, was attacked by these guys, and definitely prayers out to his family as he's going through recovery. But it's just wild, that he said you think you know racism until you see it up front and close like that. Because I've dealt with racism before, as far as like me being treated a certain way because of my race. Me and Jeff have talked about this before on the show, how we were at FYE, and because we laughed a certain way, we were kicked out of the store. You know what I mean? Just instantly like that. Like manager came out and said, "You guys gotta go." For what? For laughing? We laughed at some shit that was funny. We just happened to laugh very loudly, but we had to go. We didn't steal anything. We didn't do anything wrong. We might have laughed a little loud. We can be told to keep our voice down, but that's about it. But I didn't do anything. Jeff didn't do anything, and we were told to leave. So it's just very interesting, how America. I don't really know about the rest of the world, but America, how they treat certain people, and this shit that went down, it just showed it. It just shows how bold people feel, how some white people feel in regards to, their the way they feel about minorities. And we got to get through this. Honestly, we really got to get through this. I would say this racial hump that we are in right now. And then what's wild is that Trump is not only pissing off black people, he's pissing off white people too. So it's obviously we all feel a certain way, and have some of those people that do feel a certain way about these Confederate monuments still being up, but it represents hate. You know what I'm saying? It represents a point in time where we were 3/5 of a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as black people go, recognize the 3/5 of a man. So it shows hatred. So I mean, what it shows history to them, like, and some white people feel like, you're tearing down history by tearing that down. It represents hatred. So we definitely, I mean, if America's all about equality, then we're going to continue to have, I want to say, monuments up that recognize, a sense of hatred. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And I'm definitely all behind, the Confederacy monuments being taken down. And anyone listening to this podcast that feels differently, you're more than welcome to voice your concern. And, we can agree to disagree on the shit. But that's just how I feel about it. Hatred has no place in America. Hatred has no place in the world, honestly. But, we're all not perfect. So I honestly feel that if we do generally just have the conversation, I don't want to rule anything out, but actually have the conversation with the other side and kind of understand why you feel this way, and we can voice why we feel this way. It's so, I was having a conversation at work, and to have people voice that, they feel both sides are at fault. Okay, how the fuck do you have both sides at fault when you have one side that's proud, that's praising hatred, and the other side is praising basically unity and wanting equality? These are things we have to get through. But then again, you have to look at it like this. Again.
And we know who put him in.
Yeah, exactly. So but we also got to look at it like, devil's advocate. How the fuck do we expect any?
Devil's advocate. I mean,
no. But look at it like. But look at it like this, Jeff. Though. But listen to me, Karumbe. How do we look at it like this? How do we expect anybody to look at life through our eyes if they never been us? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine looking through life through these eyes, that the cops are just doing their job. Like, there are literally people out there that believe the cops are just doing their fucking job when they gun down a black person. Because they refuse to believe that the cops who are assigned to protect and serve will take down a random citizen for no fucking reason. It's turning a blind eye. It's turning a blind eye to shit. It's basically yeah, they turn a blind eye to this shit, man. But it's only with so much turning you can do before you actually have to recognize that this shit is wrong, man. This shit is wrong. We have to, obviously we got to come together. Yeah, there's a lot of anger behind this shit. Do I get nervous when a cop car is behind me on the fucking highway when I'm on the Florida Turnpike? Hell yeah, I get nervous as shit, man. I start, I think about my family. I think about, the legacy I want to leave, going forward, and what they would want me to do. And again, that situation that you told me about, that happened with you, man. They pulled you over because of what you were driving and the way you look. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cool, man. Not at all. So, I mean, this is real life, man. This is the shit we dealing with. And it's not easy, man. It's definitely not easy being black, let alone a black man, in this society. And I'm pretty sure there'll be anyone to try to dispute this. Well, you imagine being white or something like that, but it's totally different when you're just viewed. Every time somebody sees you, you're viewed as a criminal. That's how society has painted the picture for you, when technically we're not the criminals, man. That ain't us. So, I mean, that's roughly how I feel on the issue, man. But go ahead, Jeff, man. Say what you got to say, bro.
Nah, man, that was about it, man. I've seen, like, you watch this TV show, like, this whole campaign and saying, like, well,
yeah. I mean, he's promoted. He's promoted this shit, dude. Like, he's basically promoting, hatred it's a divide and conquer tactic. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's a divide and conquer type shit. Because he don't give a fuck about white people either.
Let's be real. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about black people. He don't give a fuck about white people. He could care less about Latins. He can care less about Asians. The only thing he cares about probably is himself. That's just being honest, man. You know. Exactly. So we care about himself. It's just all the success. That's it. But Ebony is yet to get her chance. You know, I'm gonna let Ebony say her piece. You know what I'm saying? What you think about the incident that happened recently? But yeah, go ahead, Ebony.
Well, there's only so much I can say. I don't know. This is U.S. right now. I mean, we look like fools right now. We look like plum.
Never lied.
It's ridiculous. That's all I can say. I'm pretty much y'all pretty much said what I want to say, but I can't.
Right, I got you.
We look like fools right now.
And that's why I ride. That's why I ride for you. I'm good. You good? I got you. That's fine. But you know, it's just very interesting things that have been going on in our society, and you know, it's good that there are some white people that are really starting to recognize and speak up for the issues that we're having to face with. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunate that young lady, she's 32 years old, the one that was hit by the driver up there in Charlottesville. But her mom spoke out about the shit. She said her issues that she has with Donald Trump. Just recently, what was it? The preseason game of yesterday where the Eagles played. I believe the Eagles played the Bills or the Jaguars or whatever, and Chris Long, you know, a white player, as Malcolm Jenkins held his fist up, you know, in regards to the situation that's going on in America. Chris Long was there to support him. So, I mean, it's going to take people that look like our the so-called oppressors to be the ones to help us, to help fuel this charge on making things right in America. So really do appreciate, you know, the few people that do feel this way, that, you know, truly America is about equality and not, white supremacy. So, you know, that's always good to hear. But another thing I do want to touch on in regards to Trump was his response time. You know, why did it take 2 days for you to denounce the hate group that of the white nationalists or, you know, the white supremacy, you know, and that's what eventually led. I mean, he came out and said how the shit that was written for him to say, and then turns around and says that, you know, when he's asked a question, he's like, you know, he blames both sides. So it's bullshit. You know, it's definitely bullshit as far as what he has to say in regards to that. But, you know, for him to take 2 days, it says a lot. It does say a lot. It does sound, you know, and there has been people from the white supremacy voicing their what that meant, the fact that he didn't denounce them, what that meant to them as far as like he's on their side. So imagine that. I said it before. Scar is in charge of the Pride Lands right now. That's exactly what I would describe as 45 and as as presidency right now. But, you know, I digress.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. He's Mufasa died, and now Scar is in charge of the Pride Lands. That's what's going down. So, like my man, you know, like what they said, we're going to reach the dawning of a new era and all that shit that Scar said when he got on the fucking rock, and like shit is about to go to ruin. And we're gonna see what's happening because we got this shit going on. We got Trump talking shit to the North Korea guy. So it's just so much happening right now. And like he talks out of his ass. He says the first thing that comes to his mind versus actually talking to an advisor, which is ill. On his part. But you know, I really wanted to know what you guys thought in regards to the way Trump felt on the way Trump responded, you know, his delayed response in regards to the denouncing the hate group. But yeah, so Carla, what did you think about it? I know obviously we're not shocked about this shit, but you know, what was your thoughts on it?
He's a dumbass.
Yeah,
you can't really say but too much because everything that comes out his mouth is like the ignorant shit, like on top of ignorant shit. Like, you just gotta, you can't I don't know. Just makes me just want to just punch his ass. Like,
Yep. You feel like punching him
punch
right
all
in the
his
ass.
just kill him. I don't know. Because he's, like, everybody's so ignorant. Like, he runs the country like the apprentice.
Yep.
That's exactly how he's running.
There's a new person fired every fucking week.
And he say whatever he want to say, and he think he can get away with it, and don't nobody say nothing.
Oh, because he can.
He shut his ass up. Just kill him. I'm not supposed to say that.
Whatever, you say what you want to say. I mean, what is it? Ebony's not able to say that shit, but but as a citizen, freedom of speech. That's what it is, right? That's what they call it, right?
We don't. There's no freedom of speech. We do not have freedom of speech.
No, it's a modified communism going on, but it is what it is. You gotta go with the main flow. Anything different, is viewed is viewed a certain way. But I digress on that shit. But Sugar Bugger, what's happening? What's your thoughts on him taking 2 days to respond? Based on what you can say.
There's nothing nice that I have to say.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Karumbe, obviously the floor. Yeah.
He's taking less time to respond to stuff in Barcelona. He's taking less time to respond to a lot of things. It's just him showing that he don't give two shits about it, basically.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like, he'll send out a tweet, something about him, send a tweet out in 5 minutes. As soon as he hears the words, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. As soon as he hears the words, Donald Trump got a tweet out. It don't take 2 days for the DT to send out a tweet or to get his opinion on something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shows how much he cares about it, man.
Yeah.
Basically. That was like a second thought in his mind, man. That's all. I kind of go back on what I said, because a lot of them people out there, they his people, man. They his folks.
Yeah, pretty much. And they feel confident enough to say the shit that they're saying right now. And it's very interesting. I saw one guy that was there with the white supremacists in Charlottesville. Now he's worrying about, I guess, an arrest warrant. He was crying, talking about he was going to be arrested and shit like that. This shit I find funny. I find hilarious, man. You open the door. You wanted to be a part of this shit. Now you gotta take it. You gotta stay with this shit, man. You want to be on some American History X type shit? Stay with it.
Same thing, like when he got elected, people was acting crazy. Like, there were people going around threatening people at school and stuff. Like, when he got elected in.
I mean, soon as Trump won,
soon as people was acting crazy, they were happy as hell.
Like, soon as Trump won, there was a video in a classroom that went viral. It was like a bunch of white kids, and then there were like a few Latins, and they're talking about build that wall, like fucking 11-year-olds. This shit is taught, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying.
This shit is taught. Like, hatred is taught, man. And ain't gonna tell me anything differently. So, they're picking it up from somewhere.
Yo, like, Trump ass elbows off me.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's that bullshit, man. But we're gonna do what we gotta do to stay stay together and all this shit, because it's real fucked up what's happening, but we gotta stay in this and not let it affect us. Those that want to be unified, stay unified, and then I guess there is two sides. You either for hatred or you against the shit. That's the way I see it. So the way Trump is wants to run the country, he wants to use divide and conquer. And if you think that Trump is for you, you're sadly misguided. That's all I can say. But
they always think they smarter. They ain't that damn smart.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here in America like everybody else, seeing this shit on unfold. But another incident I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I mean, there's some people that have seen Get Out, and ESPN took it upon themselves to have like a little auction for fantasy football that basically resembles the auction that happened in the movie Get Out. And that's bold as fuck for them to do. But then again, when you have a president, that has that promotes this type of shit, there's no shock to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to see shit like this. But I digress. There has to be that has to be changed. We got to be better. We definitely got to be better because this shit is wild. But basically they had it's an all white auctioneers set up the same way as the movie Get Out, and they were. I mean, don't get me wrong. Let's be clear. There were white players that were held up on the little church fan shit with the little popsicle stick and the little paper thing, just to give a visual of what it looked like. You can definitely Google the thing that I want to say the owner of ESPN or whatever the boss of ESPN came out and issued an apology on behalf of ESPN. But the shit happened. Point blank period.
They thought it was funny enough to do. That's what
exactly. So
and,
I mean,
around the same time, supremacy shit is going on.
Yeah. Why would you do that? That's my whole thing. Why the fuck would you do that right after this? This shit. So.
Everybody showing their true colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said this a long time ago. There are a lot of motherfuckers that when he got elected in, they really, when you work with them, you see them at different points of time in the day, they talk to you, they show their true colors when he got elected in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
I had friends that was on Facebook, but we had the same friends, like some of my white friends were like, I can't talk to them no more.
He's torn.
When he got elected in, their mindset completely fucking changed.
So much hatred that's going on in the world.
I seen, and you was like, literally, their mindset completely, they were a different person. You've been doing them all this time, all these years.
Well kept. It was well kept, and it was taught, from birth. That's all I can say. You know what I mean? I don't. Again, me personally, I don't hate white people. I don't hate black people. I don't hate Asians. I don't hate Latin people. But I do have a problem against ignorance. That's my shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good with that shit. There's a certain level of ignorance I can tolerate, and that's normally loving hip hop Atlanta or loving hip hop Hollywood. To be honest, that's the type of ignorance I'll fuck with for about 45 minutes of my day. But as far as like this, but real situations, like real life shit, this stuff where we're promoting hatred and racism against a certain people, or even a certain class for that matter, because there's racism and then you got classism. It's like for you to treat people a certain way based off of the fact you feel like they're poor, they're broke, or something like that. I don't respect that shit, man. I really don't respect that shit. Like we really got to come to grips that yes, life is fucked up. I get it. Life is fucked up, but nobody's better than the next person. You know what I'm saying? Based off of their skin color. Let's get that shit out the way right now. You know what I mean? Throughout my life, again, like Carla, I'm a military brat. I've had white best friends as kids. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see any of that shit. You know what I mean? As long as we got to play Nintendo together, everything was cool. We never looked at him like, oh, look at this white boy don't know what he doing or some shit like that. It's never, or they were like, oh, the black kid, he's not cool enough to hang with me. We were good. You know what I'm saying? We just had fun. That's all we saw. We were just kids. So somewhere along the lines, this shit is taught around from someone. You know what I'm saying? You're picking up these values somewhere. So we gotta honestly just work to be better. That's all I advise for anyone that is listening in on this shit. But ESPN wrong for that shit. Honestly, you know, for you to replicate something that looks exactly like a popular movie that just came out. It's still hot. People still talk about Get Out. You know what I mean? For you to do something like that, I don't know. I don't know what's on your mind, but you got to get it together. You got really need to get that shit together, man. And again, I don't know how the military life is like right now. Obviously, Sugar Booger can attest to it as far as like the sense of racism that you may see, but we gotta get it together.
Yeah, we do. We need to get it together. It's always there. People just don't hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, because you have.
Discrimination, and it's not just racism. It's discrimination against women. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. Just because we join the military, I mean, we're not like everybody else.
Everything that 45 promotes, discrimination against women. It's all right to grab the pussy. You know what I'm saying? That's that was the tagline before he even came into office. But that wasn't enough to turn away voters. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what's important to you? I need to know. Does it really matter what I say? Does it really matter? Does it really matter what I say in regards to you? If I tell you, I can touch a girl's titty because I want to, but because I give you these false, these false promises, and I guess you felt like you believed them enough to vote for me. But what am I standing for? When I've created tension between two races, I've created tension. I made white people feel inferior to black people. You know what I'm saying? Like these things. Like what are you promoting, man? Like what is that about? You're supposed to be bringing us together. This is America. You know what I mean? Like whether you know it or not, a lot of those jobs that you don't want to do are done by minorities. You know what I'm saying? So what good does it make for you to talk down on the minorities when you need them to work? Because if we don't do it, let's just say you get your wish and we all go back to our countries, then who the fuck is going to do their jobs?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so what are you doing? Somebody's going to have to do it. Eventually somebody's going to be the lowest man on the totem pole, is what I'm saying. So what are you going to do? Have trailer park trash white people do the shit? Is that what's going to happen? You're going to have homeless white people do it? Somebody's going to be doing these jobs that nobody wants to do. You know what I mean? So, hey, what do I know? I'm just a black man in America, just trying to survive, trying to live for my family, trying to create a success for me and my child, that she may never want for nothing, So it's rough, but it is America. And despite everything going on in America, I still love America. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all I know. I lived in Cuba, but even that was like a U.S. territory, with Guantanamo Bay. So I've been Americanized for a very long time. And I've seen things, happen in America. I've seen racism, in my face. I've been looked at a certain way. I've been called a nigga. I've seen, so many things, happen in my life, man. And despite all of that, I still love the country that, where I live, because I know there's more that can be done here. This is a place where anyone can come here. I won't say anyone, but most of us can come here and create a success for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So, we're just gonna continue to stay positive with this shit, and obviously keep keep things going. But we had what incident we had today. I want to roughly touch on. Again, another vehicle running into shit in Spain. The Barcelona incident. It's kind of wild. I don't know if y'all seen anything about the story, but one of my coworkers, his wife knew somebody that was that was hit by that shit. So it's wild when it gets that close to home. You see these things happen on TV all the time, and you be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's two incidents in the last in the last week where I've either known someone close to that was affected by it, or they were from my area. You know what I mean? So it's like, how often does Suffolk, Virginia make the fucking news? And that kid, you know what I'm saying, that was beat up in the garage by the the white supremacists with the poles, he was from Suffolk. So it's like, man, it's very close to home. It's definitely alarming, but again, that's just all I'm seeing is a bunch of acts of fear. They're in fear of their so-called power being taken away, in this lifetime. But we're gonna do what we gotta do. Our numbers are growing, and yeah, shit is about to change. That's for sure. Shit is definitely about to change, man. So you can get with it or get lost. That's how I see it. Because the Latin numbers are growing, the black numbers are growing, and that might scare some people that are not black and not Latin. But like it or not, we coming. You know what I'm saying? So it's like opportunities will come, or we're going to be put in a position. Our women are going to be put in in higher position, and we appreciate you for that. And we're just going to continue. Like life will evolve. You know what I'm saying? This mindset of being stuck in 1865, the Civil War mindset. And it's so funny, the Confederates, the people that's in support of this Confederacy shit. You lost, goddammit. The South lost. Really believe that shit. The Union won. So deal with it, man. That's just something you want us to get over. You want us to get over slavery, but I saw a sign that said you want us to get over slavery, but you haven't gotten over the Civil War. It's done. The North won. You know what I mean? So this is what it is. These Confederacy monuments represent a sense of a negative part of our history, as far as hatred towards black people that encourage slavery, and even the treatment of women, a certain way. So we're moving forward, and I don't know what tomorrow has has in store, but I do know that for every for every dark night there's a brighter day. So we just gonna keep this thing going, man. But I don't know. You guys got anything you guys want to touch on?
Me, not really, no.
Not really, ain't no. So what it is? Yeah, Karumbe, what you got, man?
Man, I don't really have nothing, man. Just anything randomly, I guess.
Yeah, we got we got a few.
Y'all need to get on the Defenders, man. Get on the Defenders. That's all.
Game of Thrones, huh? After that shit got leaked, huh? Same thing with Power. 50 cent a minute to leaking fucking Power, which is cool. I like Power. I just like certain shit I just don't care for. Like, I really don't care for Tariq's character. Honestly, I feel like it's out of place. But it really doesn't do much for me, watching Power. But Power's still dope. I mean, how often do you get to watch, porn in this manner with gangster shit? It's gangster ass porn. That's all it is, Yeah, Tasha knocking down Silver. Hate to be a spoiler if you haven't watched the shit yet. Tasha knocked down, got down the lawyer cat Silver. She fucked she done fucked Sean, who was now deceased. And the only what? Yeah, who else? Ghost. Yeah, Ghost only been fucking Angela. Not that makes it any better, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But it's one of my favorite shows. I definitely need to get caught up on Game of Thrones. I'm so many seasons behind, so I'm not able to play a role in the conversation. I wouldn't even remember if anybody talked about the shit anyway, or I'd be waiting for the shit to happen, one or the other. But Game of Thrones is hot right now. Power's hot right now. Oh yeah, I watched that Marlon show. That's all right.
No, that was good.
Marlon Show is alright. You know what I mean? I feel like the you know it's if you've seen any movie by Marlon Wayans or TV show in the last 20 years, it's the same shit. You know what I mean? But I thought it was pretty funny the whole thing he told his kid to do. You know what I mean? As far as like the fights with the white girls at the private school, that was pretty funny. You know. Like that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted you to do. That's what I wanted you to do. You know that shit was funny. I thought I think his like his best friend Stevie or whatever that crashed on his couch that ended up staying there. Supposed to stay there for 2 weeks, but ended up staying there 2 years. I think he's funny. What else on the show? I think it's got some work to do. We'll see what happens. Carmichael's show was very interesting though. It was the one I want to say when they had their 3-year anniversary and they had a threesome with the girl at the bar that they was talking to, and then just passing that on. So that was a pretty interesting episode. Yeah, you gotta check that out. I thought that was very funny and an interesting look at at threesomes and shit like that, and just the way that they treated her afterwards was comical. I'm not saying it was right, but it definitely was comical. She was trying to hang around and shit, and asking if they had a toothbrush and all that shit. But they wanted her ass to bounce. After it happened. But it's it's an interesting show. I just sad that the Carmichael show was canceled. I hope another network picks that shit up because Carmichael show is probably one of the most underrated TV shows that's on right now.
I didn't like it when we first started watching it, but afterwards, it's like, this shit is actually funny.
This shit it's just a different view. Jared Carmichael has a different way. His comedy is different. You know what I'm saying? He just looks at life a hell of a lot different than most people do. But it's funny. And like I advise anybody who hasn't watched the Carmichael show to check it out. Obviously through Netflix, Hulu, I'm doing basically free advertisement for them, but the shit is funny. I truly that's one of my favorite shows to watch right now. And I finally watched that damn Girls Trip. Wow. Wow. I mean, I won't say much, but it's a typical Will Packer movie. If you've seen Best Man Holiday, it's packed with his similar mindsets, with things. But
I need to watch it for real now.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah, Carla, you seen it yet?
No.
Nah,
Don't tell me.
I ain't gonna tell you shit about it. But I will say grapefruit. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. I'm glad that.
Some girl with dark skin dude.
it's But it was funny. It was it had its funny moments. You know what I'm saying? It's something. I'm pretty sure it's something that all girls can relate to. So definitely try to check that out when you can. I didn't realize that motherfucking Tupac movie is about to come on DVD and Blu-ray like in a couple weeks. Man, I'm like, fuck. I felt like that shit was just in theaters.
It was. Nobody liked it, man. People trashed that shit.
Well, it was funny. I liked it. I thought that, the only part that I don't care for is how we go from Tupac being born to Tupac being like 13 in a matter of 45 seconds. That's the only part I didn't care for, and the other part is when you got people that were close to Tupac that didn't care too much for the movie, because when you want to watch something that's based on like a biopic, you want to hope that shit is like it's close enough. You would think that they would talk to the people that were closest to Tupac to get to get the story straight, but Jada Pinkett has spoken out against the shit, and I don't know. We gotta.
Biopics are kind of crappy these days. What I haven't seen hardly any of them, but I heard a lot of them nowadays just terrible.
Right. I don't know, but yeah, it's a very interesting look at Pac's life. The thing that threw me off, I mean, there's nothing I can tell about the movie that like, oh, don't tell me the movie. You know what the fuck happened to Tupac at the end of the goddamn movie, but
it was like the situation with Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know that Pac had an issue with goddamn Snoop Dogg. You know, to like right before he passed. Because Snoop had decided, he said on the radio, it was like, that Puff Daddy and Biggie was his homeboys. I'm like, what? All right. I didn't know that shit. So, that's an interesting take on on that. But I don't know. Well, yeah. But anyway, before we get out of here, obviously we want to give our contact information. We want to thank anybody for listening to, the podcast. Be sure to listen to check out the YouTube channel for the Romy Mac YouTube channel. This is where all the podcasts are going to be uploading for now, at least for a little while, until I figure out another avenue where it can get uploaded to your iTunes. But for now, everything you definitely want to check out the YouTube channel, the Romy Mac YouTube channel, to check out podcasts that come from 2 Cents and the Locker Room and all the other podcasts that that are associated with the brand. But obviously, before we get out of here, you can check me out on check Romy Mac out on Instagram at was it ROMEY_MAK. Same with Twitter and Snapchat. Sugar Bug, let them know where they can find you if you remember the shit.
Yeah, you can reach me on Twitter at Kroonbugger.
All right, Jeff remains anonymous, and Carla, let them know where they can catch you, babe. Okay, okay, well that's fine too.
That was my shoulder. Just kidding.
That was funny. That was hilarious. Honestly, but you guys got anything you want to say before we close this up?
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Yeah, all right, that works. What about you, Karumbe? What's happening?
Nathan.
Nothing at all. Don't tell them don't get Friday the 13th and shit like that, so you can
Friday 13th. The game is full of fucking trolls. Music wise, I don't even know right now. I'm listening to a bunch of whack shit. They ain't even done really good, man.
I keep playing Cardi B shit.
Man, stop playing it,
Who
man.
is Cardi B? Man, I must be out of
Dude, it's a rip-off of Kodak Black.
I don't give a fuck, because I like the goddamn song. I don't care if it's a ripoff of Cody Black, Cody the fucking the fire stick shit. I don't give a fuck what Cody it is. This I like it.
I ain't fucking with
need to
it.
figure out
See, a girl if there was a dude and a dude took a song from somebody 2 years ago and remade it, people be shitting all over.
Yeah.
They do the same damn word.
These expensive. This is red bottoms. These is bloody shoes.
Pass, man. I ain't feeling that shit. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Cardi B. I'm about to hear that.
If I see you and I don't speak, that mean I don't fuck with you. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta listen to this shit, man. It's a catchy ass song. I don't care too much for her interviews, because I don't really care too much for her voice. It's like, nothing against New Yorkers, and all respect to New York, but it's just it's eccentric. I'll say that. Her the way she carries herself is very eccentric. So I mean, follow Cardi B on goddamn Instagram. You see what I'm talking about. But it's funny at the same time. It can be annoying as fuck. But from Sugar Booger, from Miss Carla, and obviously Karumbe. This is Romy Mac. We appreciate you listening to the 2 Cents podcast. Be sure to follow on iTunes for this most recent episode, and eventually the episodes all be on YouTube. But like I said, thank you guys for listening. But we out. God bless.